bit about shagging the nuns? Said lets his monks only?
Wait, do you think...
God! No! That's not what I meant at all.
That fucking sodomite.
Look, let's just drop it before one of us says something he'll regret. I quite like my head firmly attached to my neck.
I've got to go. Take care.
Good luck to you, friend.
See, meine Dame, we aren't idle here.
Hello, the worth Henry of Skalitz. I'm just holding a discussion with the captain here about his desolate fortress.
That's not how I'd put it. In the end, as mein Großvater said, the strength of a castle is measured by its garrison. And mine is one of the best in the region. What do you say, lad? Am I right?
Aye. I have to admit, the soldiers here look pretty fearsome.
I get the feeling you'd run instead of facing them, though. Hey?
Leave him be, meine Dame.
Now look here, I was just being polite.
Ach ja?
Do you fancy your...
Komm, Junge. We'll stuff your clothes with... Full cock, come here! The first to bleed loses.
Kurwa! I'm wounded! Christ!
By God's will, die!
It's a wonder you're still standing.
Well, you haven't shown yourself to be very manly, Henry.
Well, at least you don't have to go to...
Don't worry about it, lad.
What?
Ah, no. You know what? Take this shield. At least you'll have something to hide behind.
I better go and find Zizka.
I saw Zizka next to the stable.
Do you want to come with us?
Not really. I have a feeling.
Why?
A woman's...
Greetings.
Greetings.
I'll sort you out nicely. Take that! Wanker!
How's it going, Captain? What of it?
Was soll ich sagen? After our Lord paid Aberwarte. Eigentlich, you ought to have a word with our huntsman Dobro. See, someone...
White robe?
Ja, and Dobro's take...
What exactly do you...
Just ask him if there's any... Oh, yeah. Und das war...
All right. How's it going? What of it?
If you're...
I heard...
But they couldn't have... Why should he pay them out of...
What? What? Understand?
Dann pass mal auf.
So that Hungarian...
Das trifft... And yet, that...
Do you know by chance how to...
Wie bitte? Hast du den... Listen closely to what I tell you. Leave Sigismund alone. The wheel...
Did Sigismund...
Oh, yes. As soon as he got here. Mein Herr Peter, however, the villagers in the...
What happened?
They raised Messerles and a pot of it. They haven't been here since then. Der Teufel.
I need to top up my supply...
You'd be better off asking the innkeeper Slivka in the village. And that's no...
How do things work around...
Not really. Except for the Sigismund Miller. Diese Banditenbanden have settled... so Gott will.
My greetings to the devil.
I have a question.
Also gut.
How do I get to...
Das ist nicht schwer. Or you can also follow your nose. The smell...
Where did you say...
They've argued when you walk...
I'd like to...
What is this?
We do you? Ha!
A kind master, eh, Doggy? You're a bit picky, aren't you?
And this skull? It's strange, crooked, like a letter from a fancy book.
Ah, this. I fell off the battlements at Laxenburg Castle.
How are things, Captain?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Just wait until you've been...
Ah, don't say that. You still have your strength. A real man of iron.
But enough chat.
That's why I'm here. I wanted to take Catherine along, too.
She's doing the right thing, and you better run it.
Are you expecting...
I always expect trouble. And the way things are these days, I'd rather have horses standing by, even on a visit to my parents.
What about that dry devil of...
No, nobody... I'm not surprised. He might.
Should I really go and see Yobstomp?
So what? You already know him better than I do.
Well, all right, but he sent for...
A bit odd, I suppose.
All right, then. I'll be going, then.
You silly doggy. And this scar? It's strange, crooked, like a letter from a fancy book.
Ah, this. I fell off the battlements at Laxenburg Castle.
Lord above! From the woods! And were you conquering or defending them?
I apologize.
Greetings.
What goes on in the fire?
There are poachers prowling in the woods, a band led by this ginger-headed Mach of Marshowitz.
What happened?
They killed a rare white roebuck that lived in our woods. Killed and skinned it. Sir Peter of Pisek put a bounty on their head.
I must say.
It's an exceedingly rare animal. It was beautiful. Its hide was white as snow. Sir Peter forbade hunting it, but I wouldn't have even if I could. killing an...
Do you know any...
They're led by some fella. From what I've heard, they showed up in the village. The guards always sent them packing.
That knacker, what?
Oh, he has a dishonourable profession, but having the gall to work with poachers, he's on thin enough ice as it is, being a knacker and all. If his lordship... But he might know something...
All right, huntsman.
Excellent. And if you mete out capital punishment on the spot, all the better. Every member of that band carries a squirrel tail on them.
Where should I look for...
Ah, that's the hard part. I'm sure that if you don't know what to do...
Thanks for the advice.
I'd be with you.
Henry. Where's Captain Zizka?
He got held up.
I received a report that von Bergov's banner is flying in the camp of my dear cousin Sigismund, so I assume the negotiations at Trotsky didn't go too smoothly.
No, sir. I don't have good news for you, I'm afraid.
Well, good or bad, I'm sure you have plenty to report. So what happened with von Bergov at Trotsky?
Bergov had no interest in our message. By the time we finally arrived at Trotsky, he'd already long since made a deal with Sigismund. But of course, he didn't tell Sir Hans and me anything. And on top of that, he used us to do his dirty work. Everything went to hell in the end, and we ended up in a dungeon. Or at least I did. They took Lord Capon away. In fact, that's why we're here. We were following von Bergov's trail.
So I've heard. But I'd be interested to know the details. It's been some time since our meeting in Ratai, and now you appear here by the side of a quite unexpected guest.
Well, it wasn't the best circumstances to meet Zizka in. They sent him to the Trotsky region to cause problems, and our paths happened to cross. We crossed swords. I can only thank God we didn't kill each other.
And who was giving Zizka orders? Do you know?
I think it's some Jan Sokol of Lamberg.
That would make sense. He was always quite pig-headed.
Forgive me, my lord, but how is it possible you don't know? Aren't you all on the same side?
Bear in mind that my dear cousin, His Majesty King Wenceslas, has many supporters, and each of them has their own ideas about how to defend him.
I understand. It seems complicated.
On the contrary, it's all quite simple. If I could get them all together in one banquet hall, give them their fill of wine and venison, they'd come to an agreement on the spot. Let's move on. I heard something about a pillory and poaching. What in God's name did you and Sir Hans get up to?
Things went wrong right from the beginning. We were ambushed, and we lost the letter. Lord Capon and I were lucky to get out of it alive. But no one at Trotsky believed that we were messengers.
Von Bergov refused to aid a nobleman in need. That seems pretty low for a man of his stature.
Well, to be honest, Lord Capon didn't really look much like a nobleman. We were ambushed while bathing in a pond, and then we fled through the woods. So we really look like a pair of beggars.
Ah, that must have been a peculiar feeling for Lord Capon.
You can't even imagine it, Your Grace.
I certainly cannot, in truth. In any case, are you sure there's nothing else you want to tell me?
Well, you should probably know that Istvan Toth was working for von Berghoff.
Who's he?
One of Sigismund's cronies. He was causing havoc around Ratai.
Ah, yes. Hanush and Radzig mentioned some such person. They even foolishly let him go.
They had to. They gave him their word.
Yes. Well, it's actually quite heartening that some people still have such naive ideas about the world.
Well, no one let him go this time. He's dead.
Very good. From what I've heard, he was a bandit and a cutthroat. There should be no dealings with his ilk. And do you want to tell me anything else? Besides about Toth?
That's all that happened, sir.
Truly. My court messenger and bearer of tidings, both good and bad, John of Liechtenstein, has mysteriously gone silent. So every piece of information I get now is precious. By the way, you said you were in von Berghoff's dungeon, and I can imagine how they treated you there. Tell me, did you reveal anything?
Well, they asked questions, yes. But I was counting on that, and prepared myself for it.
How did you prepare yourself?
I just thought something up.
Henry, what exactly did you tell them? What you might consider to be a minor detail might be something of utmost importance.
I don't know. It all happened so fast.
But you said you had time to think. So how was it then?
Well,
I've had better liars than you fail to trick me. So tell me, what came out of those loose lips of yours?
Although it wasn't me who told him, von Berghoff did get certain information.
What information?
About Liechtenstein. That he's in Kuttenberg. And what he's doing there. I'm really sorry, sir, but... well, they tortured us.
That is truly unfortunate. But you've nothing to be ashamed of. I think it's too much to expect anyone to hold their tongue under torture.
But Lord Liechtenstein... what if they killed him because of us?
John went straight into the lion's den. He knew the risks. Thank you for the news. You're free to go if you want. But I would be glad if you stayed at the fortress. As soon as it's possible, you can join a legation heading for Rattay. I'm sure you already want to go home.
Sir, that's a generous offer, and I appreciate it. But it's not what I want.
If you wish to stay and help here, I'll be glad, of course. I need someone to escort my envoys, and you've proven yourself more than capable.
It's Lord Capon, Your Grace. I came to find out where he is, and rescue him.
A noble thought. But you mustn't worry about Lord Capon. I'm sure von Berghoff has him trapped in a gilded cage.
But I made a promise, sir.
I understand, but honestly, Lord Capon is now safer than you or I. The most sensible course now is to wait for the ransom demand.
Margrave.
Ah, Captain Zizka. Henry and I were just discussing Lord Capon.
Yeah, the Margrave thinks he's in no danger, and we should wait for a ransom demand.
As one does.
I wanted to talk to you about something else. I suppose you're wondering why your friend Hinnek, also known as the Dried Devil, isn't here?
Oh, there's plenty of gossip going on around the fortress. You and Pisek refused to grant him asylum.
Asylum is for those in distress, Captain. Hinnek came to burn and pillage. I have quite different plans.
Oh. And what might those be, Margrave? Sitting and talking while King Wenceslas rots in a dungeon. What would I expect? Not so long ago, You were conspiring with Sigismund against Prokop, your own brother!
It would be futile trying to explain to you the intricacies of the Luxembourg's dynastic politics. Let me just explain that that was what was called for in the situation. But I assure you that I am now acting in the best interests of this country and of King Wenceslas.
You're acting first and foremost in your own interests. Everyone knows that.
Strong words coming from a man who earns his bread by killing merchants on the road. No offense intended. I applaud your art. The pen is mightier than the sword, but there are times when it's vice versa. Enter!
All ready to leave now, sir?
Good. It's high time. I expect the captain was about to leave anyway. Are you not?
With pleasure.
And you, Henry?
Me? Well, sir, I made a promise.
I understand. I won't attempt to keep you here by force. But bear in mind, I have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, which gives us time to get ready. And if anyone should disrupt my plans with headstrong acts of violence, there will be consequences. Grave consequences. I consider this matter closed. Farewell and good luck.
I get the feeling Yopes didn't make a great impression on you. Are we leaving?
Yeah. And Henry's going with us.
Wait, you'll help me find Capon?
Sure. But we'll need people for that. And information. Catherine, I've got a job for you.
Yes?
Go to Kuttenberg. Find out what happened to Liechtenstein. If anyone knows what's going on in this godforsaken country, it'll be him. In the meantime, we'll go and find Dry Devil and his band.
Good luck. I'd go all the way to Rome to spy if it kept me away from the devil.
Let's go! Very close. The devil doesn't know you, but he should recognize me, even like this. Unless he's too drunk.
What is your plan, anyway? Go from village to village, hamlet to hamlet, until we find him?
That won't be necessary. We just have to visit places where you can get booze.
So all the taverns and dens in the region?
If it comes to that.
I'm up for that.
Don't get your hopes up. We'll have a beer, listen to the local rumor mill, and if we don't find anything, we'll pay up and move on.
Where do we start?
I have heard of a place that's a favored meeting spot of bandits, poachers, and all kinds of scum. If I was looking for the devil, or at least someone who knows something about him, that's where I'd go.
Sounds like a good place to start. And if we find the devil, what then?
If we're really to step on Sigismund's toes, we need capable men. And the devil's capable. Of anything, really.
I'm not sure what the three of us can achieve.
Hinek's not alone. He has the devil's... pack.
Who?
That's what his band is called. They're exactly the sort of men we need.
And what do you have in mind when you say step on Sigismund's toes? What about Liechtenstein and Capon?
The same thing we did to von Berghoff. But don't worry. It's gonna take a lot of time before we're ready. In the meantime, hopefully Catherine will find out where young Liechtenstein is hiding. If his spy network really lives up to the legend, he'll surely know where they're keeping young Capon.
I hope so. And when he's free, then we can step on Sigismund's toes. I'm sure Lord Capon will be happy to help.
In that case, he'd be better off staying in captivity. So, what do you say? Shall we speed up?
road's quiet. The surroundings are pretty. Why rush? At least we won't be so conspicuous.
If you say so.
Shouldn't we speed up? We won't get there before dark like this.
What's the matter? Don't you want to enjoy the scenery?
Right. Why hurry? There's plenty of time.
quick! Go! Yeah. Go! Ka! Go! Dismount! We're here. I hope our journey doesn't prove to be in vain. Keep your hand on your hilt, Henry. Around here, you never know what might happen.
I warned you had it coming, you drunk!
Hang on. I didn't see it. Does feel better when I've had a drink. It's a gift from God.
Either you pay us back our coin, or you can leave your head with us.
you wouldn't get a groschen for an alternable mine.
You're right about that. I'd have a use for that turnip. But I can only pay for it with iron.